My name is Aveline Rowan, 35 years old. The reservation was for 8 at Meridian, the restaurant my mother used to call a cathedral to appetite. I arrived early in a navy dress, the kind that doesn't announce itself, with a thin gold chain I'd had since college. The elevator side opened to the private third floor, and the room unfolded in glass and candlelight. City lights stitched like sequins beyond floor-to-ceiling windows, white orchids arching over crystal, the kind of arrangement that makes people measure themselves against price. Richard, the general manager, greeted me with a professional smile and a quiet nod that felt like a yes to a question no one else knew I'd asked. "Right on schedule," he said. "Shall we pace it as discussed?" I held his gaze a beat too long, then glanced away. Yes, slow to start. Downstairs, the lobby murmured with well-dressed strangers. Mom arrived first, perfume faint as a memory, lipstick careful. Her face lit when she saw me, then faltered. "Oh, Aveline, I thought you might dress up more. It's a nice restaurant." I hugged her carefully, mindful of the silk blouse I knew she'd saved for. "Happy birthday." "Thank you, sweetheart." Her fingers patted my shoulder, already scanning the entrance. "Is David coming?" "No," I said, light as a comma. "Just family tonight." Marcus appeared next, stepping out of his leased BMW with Jennifer on his arm, glitter sewn into her dress like a thesis. "Aveline," he said, as if delivering a verdict. "Surprised you could make it. Thought you'd be stuck at that little office job." I requested the evening off. Mom's birthday is important. "Hopefully you can chip in for drinks," Jennifer laughed, bright and sharp. "We know your budget's tight." Amanda breezed in with Robert and their teens, admiration already ready for the wrong target. "Meridian. Marcus, you shouldn't have." I said, "Actually, I made the reservation." Silence fell with a precise weight. "You?" Amanda's eyebrows lifted. "Aveline, this place is $300 a person, minimum." "I'm aware," I said. Marcus made a noise that wasn't quite a laugh. "Be serious. There's no way you can afford this." "I made the reservation," I repeated. "You can still feel included." At the host stand, the tablet confirmed what I already knew. "Good evening. Party of 8 for Chin?" Marcus leaned in. "That's us. I made the reservation." The host frowned. "I have it under Aveline, Chin." "That's my sister," Marcus said smoothly. "There's a confusion." "Private dining room on the 3rd floor," the host smiled, to me. "Right this way, Ms. Chin." Marcus's jaw tightened. His jaw. In the elevator's mirrored hush, Jennifer whispered, just loudly enough, "Private floor? Aveline, be honest. How are you paying for this?" "I have savings," I said. "From what?" Amanda's tone made the words into tweezers. "You're a secretary." "Administrative assistant," I corrected. "There's a difference." "Barely," Robert said, not looking up. The doors opened on light. The space had been remade just for tonight. Piano bled from hidden speakers. The long table caught the glow the way water catches moonlight. Mom's breath caught. "Aveline, this is too much." "It's your 70th, I said. "Nothing is too much." But she was already turning to Marcus, worry fastening to habit. "Honey, are you sure?" "I didn't arrange this," Marcus said flatly, eyes on me. "Apparently, Aveline has a secret sugar daddy." The word hung there, cheap as gum under a table. Mom didn't defend me. She never had to. There was always someone else to fill that silence. "Look at this place," Marcus said, counting sins off on his fingers. "Your 10-year-old Honda, your 1-bedroom, coin laundry, and now you're dropping $5,000 on foam and flowers?" "Maybe she saved," Mom offered, but even the hope sounded rehearsed. "For years," Amanda added, gliding a hand over silk curtains like rubbing a genie's lamp. "If you borrowed money from the wrong people—" "I didn't borrow anything." I smoothed the napkin across my lap. "Can we enjoy Mom's birthday?" "Not until you explain," Marcus said, refusing his seat, arms crossed like a barricade. "Did you max out your cards? Take a loan?" "I made a reservation and provided a credit card." "Which will probably bounce," Jennifer stage whispered. Thomas, a server I'd known longer than my last relationship, appeared with champagne. Dom Perignon, 2008, he said, and there was a flicker in his eyes when he looked at me. Respect is a quiet language. I gave him a tiny nod I hope no one saw. Mom's eyes widened at the label. Aveline, no. This bottle alone is 400, Marcus finished, eager to be the human calculator. Per bottle, how many? Enough for toasts, I said. Please, sit. They sat, but the steam had gone cold between us. To Mom, I said, raising my glass. 70 years of grit and grace. The toast hung in the air, like a bridge no one wanted to step onto. Plates arrived, seared scallops in a breath of truffle, and Amanda photographed hers without tagging the location. Wouldn't want the internet asking how the secretary sister paid for Meridian. So, Aveline, Robert said carefully, slicing a scallop like a surgeon. Still with that tiny consulting firm? Yes, it's going well. What do you do? Jennifer asked, sounding bored at the idea of answers. Coordinate projects, manage clients. So, secretary work, Marcus said, popping a scallop into his mouth. $30 a scallop, incredible. Can we stop talking about money? Mom said softly. It's my birthday. We're worried about Aveline, Amanda said, patting my hand like it was a prop. This is not like you. We think you're having an episode. I'm not, I said. Are you? Marcus leaned in, voice lowering into something performative. Because this is what manic looks like, blowing the savings you don't have to impress people who will never be impressed. The second course, butter poached lobster, arrived, and Mom made a distressed sound. Marcus, she whispered, order salads for the main. Keep costs down. Mom, I already ordered the tasting menu for everyone, I said. It's done. That's the most expensive option, Amanda snapped. $400 before wine. I'm aware, I said. Then you're insane, Marcus said, striking the table so Crystal sang. I won't watch you destroy yourself to prove a point. I'm not proving anything. Then what is this? He flung an arm to include the orchids, the glass, my face. Because I'm about to fix it. He stood. I'll talk to the manager. Cancel the rest. Move us somewhere normal. Marcus, please sit, I said. I will not watch my sister have a breakdown, he said louder, knowing who would hear. The hovering staff, the floor below, anyone but himself. You need help, professional help. I agree, Amanda chimed in, grateful to the echo. He marched toward the elevator. Jennifer darted after him, then Amanda, then Robert. Even the teenagers evaporated into excuses. The doors hushed shut. It was just me and Mom, our plates cooling like small moons. Honey, she said, voice gentle and terrible, if you're having money trouble, tell me. Is this about David? Are you trying to show him your... No. He did well after the divorce, she murmured. The new wife, the house. It must be hard, but you don't have to pretend. I'm not pretending. Then where did the money come from? The question was a blade. Aveline, she whispered, you didn't do anything illegal, did you? I felt that more than the slaps I never got. No, Mom. The elevator doors opened. Marcus strode out with Richard, immaculate as ever. There she is, Marcus said. She's the one who made this delusional reservation. Richard's expression was polite, professional, unruffled. Sir, I'm aware of Ms. Chin's reservation. Cancel it, Marcus said. Charge what we've eaten and move us downstairs. I'm afraid I can't, Richard said. I'm a customer changing my order. You're not the customer who made the reservation, Richard replied, tone still silk, thread strengthening. Any changes must be authorized by her. She isn't authorized to authorize anything, Marcus snapped. She's having a crisis. That card will decline. I'm saving you trouble. Run it again. It has already been charged and approved, sir. Run it again, he insisted, and now his voice had that edge I'd heard before when a server wasn't fast enough. Sir, Richard said, I'm going to need you to lower your voice. You're disturbing other guests. Other guests? We're alone up here. There are private rooms on either side and tables below. Your voice carries. I don't care, this is fraud, Marcus said, the word tasting like drama on his tongue. Consumer fraud. She's defrauding you, and you're helping. I want the owner, now. Richard's eyes flicked to me, just for a second, an infinitesimal check-in. I gave him the smallest nod. The owner, he repeated evenly. Yes, the owner, Marcus said, triumphant. Someone with authority who can see through whatever story she's selling. One moment, Richard said, stepping away, phone already to his ear. Amanda and Jennifer reappeared at the elevator, drawn by heat. Is the owner coming? Amanda asked, breathless. Apparently, Jennifer said. This should be good. Mom looked like she might cry. Please, can we just go? It's about to get worse for Aveline, Marcus said. Trust me. Richard ended his call and returned, expression unreadable. The owner will speak with you now, he said. Finally. Marcus crossed his arms. Where is he? When will he get here? Richard turned slightly. She's already here. He inclined his head toward me. Ms. Chin, would you like to address your brother's concerns? For a second, no one moved. The only sound was the faint hum of the piano beneath the tension, like a heartbeat refusing to stop. Marcus's mouth opened, closed, then opened again. What? Richard didn't flinch. Ms. Chin is the owner of Meridian. She has been for 4 years. The silence shattered like thin glass. Amanda blinked as if she'd misheard. Jennifer let out a strangled laugh that died halfway. That's impossible. I assure you, it's quite possible, Richard said evenly. Ms. Chin also owns the Meridian Group, which includes 6 other restaurants in the city. I'm the general manager, and I report directly to her. Marcus stared at him, face draining of color. No, this is some kind of joke. I can provide documentation if you'd like, Richard said. Business registration, ownership filings, all public record. Jennifer was already typing furiously on her phone, nails clicking like gunfire. Wait. Oh my God, Marcus, it's true. She's listed, Aveline Rowan Chin, principal owner, Meridian Group Holdings, LLC. Her voice fell to a whisper. Estimated value, $40 million. Mom's hand went to her mouth. $40 million? I inhaled slowly, trying to keep my tone level. Give or take. Amanda's chair scraped back as she stood, stunned. You own this restaurant? And 6 others, I said quietly. Meridian, Copper and Oak, the Garden Room, Saltwater Provisions, Blueprint, and, since last month, Henrietta's Table. Robert was whispering under his breath, doing math that had nothing to do with numbers and everything to do with ego. Marcus shook his head like he could undo the truth through repetition. No, you're lying. What is this? Some kind of performance? Richard's tone cooled. Sir, I'd suggest lowering your voice. She's been lying to us, Marcus said, turning to Mom for backup. All these years, she's been lying. I haven't lied once, I said. I just stopped trying to convince you of things you didn't want to believe. Mom looked torn between disbelief and shame. Why didn't you tell me, honey? Why would you keep this secret? I did try, I said. You just didn't hear me. When? She asked softly. After the divorce, I said. When David's lawyer claimed I'd contributed nothing to the marriage. I said I'd made investments. You told me I was being defensive. That's not... At Christmas, I interrupted gently. When you asked why I wasn't dating anyone successful, I said I was doing fine on my own. You laughed. Said fine wasn't the same as successful. Amanda's voice cracked through the moment. So all that time, you were sitting there, letting us think you were barely scraping by? I wasn't letting you, I said. You decided it. Marcus laughed without humor. Oh, come on. You expect us to believe you went from a desk job to owning half the city's fine dining scene? I turned to Richard. Tell them when I bought Meridian. Shortly after her divorce, he said. She purchased the property outright. Marcus barked a laugh. How? Magic? Timing, I said. David wanted quick cash. I kept quiet during the settlement. He got the house. I got what I needed. They stared. I could feel their shock ripple through the room. Jesus, Jennifer whispered. It was never about revenge, I said. I just wanted something of my own. Mom's voice was trembling now. I thought you were struggling. I was, I admitted. Just not in the way you thought. For a heartbeat, the room softened. Then Marcus's tone snapped it back. So what? You're rich now? You think that makes up for everything? Everything? I repeated. What everything, Marcus? He leaned forward, voice rising. You've been sitting on money while you what? I said, calm now. Bought BMWs you couldn't afford? Mocked me for not keeping up? His mouth tightened. Richard, I said, would you give us a minute? Richard hesitated, then nodded to the staff. They moved quietly, clearing plates, leaving us in the dim hum of tension. Amanda folded her arms. This is crazy. You could have told us. I tried, I said again. I just stopped when every conversation turned into proof that I wasn't enough. I could feel the years pressing in. The dinners where my job title became a punchline, the holidays where my gifts were measured by receipts instead of thought. I didn't want to fight, I said. I wanted peace. Marcus scoffed. Oh, please, you just wanted to play victim. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I just wanted to see what would happen if I stopped performing for your approval. Jennifer looked down at her phone again, scrolling. It says your group's worth more than 40 million. That true? It fluctuates, I said simply. Amanda gave a breathless laugh. So what now? You're some business mogul? We're supposed to bow? No, I said. You're supposed to eat. She blinked. What? Dinner, I said. It's still Mom's birthday. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Mom reached for my hand. You bought Meridian, she said softly, like tasting the words. I bought it for a lot of reasons, I said. But one of them was you. You told me once you used to come here with Dad, before it got too expensive. You said you missed it. I didn't like the idea that you felt excluded from something you loved. So, I fixed it. Mom's lip trembled. You bought it for me? For us, I said. But yes, partly. Jennifer's eyes flicked to Marcus, wide and pale. She's serious. He didn't look up. His voice came out small. You bought a restaurant because of a story. I bought a restaurant because I wanted to own something that couldn't be taken away again, I said. Something that couldn't be negotiated in a divorce or dismissed in a courtroom. Marcus finally met my gaze. You think this makes you better? No, I said. It makes me free. He laughed, but there was no sound. Richard reappeared quietly. Miss Chin, shall we proceed with the main course? Yes, I said. Please. Wait, Mom said suddenly. Before that. She looked around at the others. No more arguing, no more judgment. This is my birthday, and we are going to eat in peace. Marcus sat down heavily. Jennifer followed, still shaken. Amanda hesitated, then sighed, and took her seat. Richard nodded to the staff, and food began to arrive again. Perfectly cooked filet mignon, roasted vegetables, and a silence that hummed louder than conversation. For a while, no one spoke. Then Amanda whispered, So, what's it like, being rich? I smiled faintly. Same as being poor, just quieter. She blinked. That's depressing. Not really, I said. Peace looks boring from the outside. Robert let out a low whistle. You really did it. You actually pulled it off. I didn't pull anything off, I said. I just worked. I learned. I invested. Marcus muttered something I didn't catch, but it sounded like resentment. The rest of dinner passed in fractured silence, forks scraping, glasses refilling, tension simmering just beneath civility. When dessert arrived, Mom smiled faintly at the cake, tears glistening in her eyes. It's beautiful, she said. It should be, I said. You deserve it. We sang softly. The candles flickered. And for a heartbeat, it almost felt normal. Then my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. We need to talk about the line of credit under your name. Call me. A cold ripple ran through me. I slipped the phone back into my purse, forcing a smile. Marcus was watching me. Everything okay? Just work, I said. But in my chest, something dark began to move. The sense that this night's real revelation hadn't even started yet. By the time we left Meridian, the night air felt sharper than usual. The city hummed below, indifferent to our unraveling. Mom's shawl fluttered against her shoulders like something fragile trying to stay warm. The rest of them lingered near the entrance, whispering in a cluster. Marcus's voice the loudest even when he thought he was being discreet. I walked a few steps ahead, needing distance. For once, I didn't rush to fill the silence or smooth the edges of discomfort. Let them sit with it. Wait, Jennifer called. Aveline! I turned. Her expression had shifted. Less mockery, more calculation disguised as apology. I just wanted to say I'm sorry about earlier. Thank you. She hesitated. We all just had no idea. I know. Amanda chimed in next, arms folded tight against the chill. Why keep it secret, though? Why let us think you were struggling? I didn't keep it secret, I said. I just stopped correcting your assumptions. That's not the same thing, Marcus cut in. His tone carried that familiar edge, anger wearing the mask of righteousness. You hid it. I lived quietly, I said. There's a difference. He stepped closer, the city lights painting sharp lines across his face. You made us look like fools in there. I didn't make you do anything, I replied. You did that all on your own. Mom touched my arm gently. Sweetheart, maybe we can talk tomorrow when everyone's calmer. But Marcus wasn't done. You could have helped us, he snapped. When Amanda's business was going under, when Robert needed that loan, when I was trying to refinance the house, you sat there acting broke while we struggled. Amanda's head jerked toward him. You said you had that handled. Marcus ignored her. You watched us drown and said nothing. I didn't watch, I said quietly. You never asked. And when I offered advice, you called it condescending. Because you always acted like you knew better. I did know better, I said. Not because I'm smarter, but because I learned the hard way what it's like to lose everything. He flinched, but covered it with a laugh that didn't reach his eyes. There it is, the martyr speech. Jennifer tugged at his sleeve. Marcus! He shook her off. No, she needs to hear this. You've been waiting years to drop this bomb, haven't you? To make us feel small. I didn't want to make you feel anything, I said. I wanted peace. But you can't have peace with people who only see you through their insecurities. For a moment, no one spoke. Even Amanda's kids, who'd been scrolling through their phones, looked up. Robert cleared his throat. Maybe we should just go home. Mom nodded, her voice trembling. Yes, let's go, please. We said polite goodnights that felt like goodbyes. One by one, they disappeared into the night, their expensive cars slicing through the streetlights. I stayed behind, standing under the soft glow of Meridian's sign, feeling its weight in a new way. Richard appeared beside me, his tone measured but gentle. Rough night. I smiled faintly. That obvious? Only to someone who's watched 1,000 family dinners fall apart in this building. Guess I'm not special then. On the contrary, he said. Most people storm out and never come back. You stayed. You finished dessert. I let out a short laugh. Finishing dessert is my love language. Richard hesitated, then lowered his voice. You handled it well. Better than I would have. Restraint's easier when you've practiced invisibility for years. He studied me a moment. And now that you're visible? I didn't answer. When I finally got home, the apartment felt smaller than it had that morning. But not in a bad way. Cozy, familiar. Mine. I poured a glass of water and checked my phone. 17 missed calls, 43 messages, half from Marcus. One stood out. The unknown number again. Ms. Chin, I left you a voicemail earlier. Please call me about the line of credit under your name. I frowned. Line of credit? I hadn't applied for one in years. The next morning, I met with my accountant at a quiet cafe near the river. Steam curled above our mugs as she pulled up my file. Aveline, something odd came through last night, she said. An alert from a bank in Boston. They're flagging an account with your name attached. I don't have any accounts in Boston. That's what I thought, she said, flipping her tablet toward me. It's small, only 50,000, but it lists Aveline R. Chin as a secondary guarantor. Secondary? I asked slowly. She nodded, meaning someone else opened it and used your name for collateral. My stomach twisted. Can you trace who? She hesitated. The signature is illegible, but the address linked to the file. It's Marcus's. I stared at the screen. Are you sure? Positive. His home office, not his residence. Looks like a business filing. I leaned back, pulse in my throat. So he, what, forged my name? It could be an administrative error, she said gently. But if it isn't, you'll need to act fast before it damages your credit. I swallowed hard. I'll handle it. That evening, I texted Marcus, need to talk, urgent. He replied instantly, finally. We should discuss partnerships, investments. Not that kind of talk, I typed. About a line of credit. No response for a full minute. Then, I have no idea what you're talking about. Then you won't mind meeting tomorrow, I wrote. At Meridian. Noon. The dots blinked, disappeared, then blinked again. Fine. When I arrived the next day, Richard had reserved the small conference room. The air smelled like citrus and steel. Clean, careful. Marcus was already there, pacing. You could have called, he said. I did. He looked irritated. So what's this about? I slid the printed document across the table. Recognize this address? His eyes flicked over it, then froze. That's my office. Correct. Now look at the signature. He hesitated. Hard to read. It's supposed to be, I said, because it's not mine. He pushed the paper back. You're accusing me of fraud now? I'm asking if you know anything about this. I don't. Then you won't mind if I call the bank. His jaw tightened. You're blowing this out of proportion. Am I? I said softly. Because the only reason someone would use my name is access. And you're the only one who's ever had both the motive and the familiarity to pull it off. That's insulting. It's also convenient, I said. You're the one who's always handling things for the family. Loans, paperwork, applications. He said nothing. I'm giving you one chance to tell me the truth before this becomes something bigger. His silence told me everything. Finally, he said, if you think I'd risk my reputation for 50,000, I think you'd risk it to keep your image intact, I said, and because you assumed I wouldn't check. He stood, anger flashing across his face. You're not the only successful one in this family. I never said I was. You act like it. No, I said quietly. You need me to act like it, so you have a reason to hate me. The words landed harder than I expected. He looked away first. I gathered the papers. I'll have my lawyer reach out. If it's a misunderstanding, we'll clear it. If not, he cut in, voice sharp. You'd really take legal action against your own brother? I'd really hold people accountable, I said, family or not. He shook his head slowly, disbelief settling in. You've changed. No, I said. You just finally met me. He left without another word. Richard, who'd been waiting by the door, stepped inside. Everything all right? I exhaled. Not yet, but it will be. As I walked out, the hum of Meridian's kitchen echoed down the hall, steady, certain, alive. For the first time in years, I felt the same way. The next morning, sunlight spilled across my kitchen counter, hitting the half-drained cup of coffee beside my laptop. My phone buzzed nonstop. Missed calls, messages, apologies that felt like transactions. I silenced them all and opened my inbox instead. Emails from my restaurant managers, investor updates, supplier reports. Normal life, stable, quiet. The way I liked it. An hour later, a new email flashed on the screen from my attorney. Subject: regarding the line of credit. I clicked it open. Preliminary check confirms no active liability remains in your name. However, the documents suggest a recent attempt to renew the credit using your credentials electronically. Would you like to initiate a formal investigation? I read it twice, then typed back, yes, proceed, thoroughly. By noon, I was back at Meridian, not the grand dining room this time, but a smaller space tucked behind the main bar. A room that smelled faintly of lemon oil and privacy. Richard had already arranged everything, a long conference table, neatly stacked folders, and glasses of water. My family arrived one by one. Marcus, first as always, pretending control wasn't slipping through his fingers. Jennifer followed, quiet and watchful. Amanda trailed behind, arms crossed, avoiding my eyes. Mom came last, her steps small but steady. Richard nodded politely, then closed the door behind him. Thank you for coming, I said. I think we need to set some things straight. Amanda sighed. Aveline, if this is about the other night... It's not just about the other night, I said calmly. It's about the last 10 years. About assumptions, boundaries, and respect. Marcus scoffed. Here we go. I'm not here to fight, I said. I'm here to clarify how this family moves forward, if we're moving forward at all. Mom looked nervous. Honey, we just want peace. Peace doesn't come from pretending, I said. It comes from truth. Marcus folded his arms. So what's the truth then? That you think we're beneath you now? No, I said evenly. The truth is that I love you all, but love without accountability is just enablement. The words hung in the air like something alive. Jennifer shifted in her seat. We didn't mean to make you feel small, Aveline. We just didn't understand. That's the problem, I said softly. You didn't want to understand. Mom's eyes glistened. You could have tried harder to make us listen. Maybe, I said, but maybe you could have listened better. Silence followed, thick and slow. Finally, Marcus leaned forward, his voice low. Look, if this is about that line of credit... It's exactly about that line of credit, I said. I've already started an investigation. If your name shows up anywhere near it, there will be consequences. Legal ones. He stiffened. You'd really do that to your own brother? I'd do that to anyone who uses me, I said. Family doesn't mean free passes, it means trust. You broke that. Jennifer reached for his hand, but he pulled it away. Amanda looked between us, uncertain. Maybe we should all take a breath. No, I said. I've taken enough. I turned to Mom. You always told me family sticks together, but sticking together doesn't mean letting people walk over you. I'm not doing that anymore. Mom's lip trembled. I didn't realize how much I hurt you. I know, I said. You thought you were keeping peace. But every time you stayed silent when they mocked me, you taught them my voice didn't matter. A tear rolled down her cheek. I'm sorry. I nodded. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. Then I reached into my bag and pulled out a small white envelope. This is for you. Mom blinked, confused. What is it? An open reservation card, I said. You can come to Meridian anytime. Eat whatever you want, whenever you want. No bill. No permission needed. You belong here. Her tears fell freely now. You bought this place for me. I bought it for us, I said. But you were the reason I wanted to make it beautiful. Marcus stared at the table. So that's it? You're cutting us off? I'm setting boundaries, I said. If you need financial help, you can ask through my legal office. No handouts, no secrets, no manipulation. Amanda exhaled slowly. What if we just want a relationship, not money? Then show up, I said. Call me. Ask how I am without turning it into a comparison. I'd like that. She nodded, eyes softening. Maybe you could teach me what you know. About business, I mean. I smiled faintly. That I can do. Jennifer finally spoke, voice quiet. For what it's worth, I'm sorry for the things I said. I was cruel. I know, I said gently, but I accept the apology. Marcus looked up then, his expression unreadable. You really think money makes you untouchable, don't you? No, I said. It makes me responsible. There's a difference. He gave a short, bitter laugh. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said, but not as much as I'd regret staying silent. He stood abruptly. You can keep your money and your rules. He turned toward the door. I'm done. Then be done, I said. He stopped for half a second, maybe expecting me to call him back. I didn't. The door closed softly behind him. The rest of us sat in the stillness he left behind. Mom reached across the table and squeezed my hand. You did the right thing, she said. I hope so. Amanda gave a faint smile. He'll come around, eventually. Maybe, I said, but I'm not waiting anymore. After they left, I stayed in the quiet conference room. Through the glass wall, I could see Richard moving through the dining floor below, checking lights, adjusting chairs, making sure everything ran smoothly. He glanced up and gave a small nod. I returned it. A notification buzzed on my phone, a new email from my attorney. No active debts. Audit complete. You're clear. For the first time in a long time, I felt lighter. Outside, the evening sun dipped below the skyline, gilding Meridian's letters in gold. I walked to the window, watching the reflection of my own face in the glass. Not the girl desperate to prove herself, not the woman hiding her success to be palatable. Just me. Richard appeared behind me quietly. Everything all right, boss? I smiled faintly. It is now. He nodded. You handled them well. I didn't handle them, I said. I handled myself. He chuckled. That's harder. It is, I said, but it's worth it. Outside, the streetlights flickered to life one by one, painting the city in quiet gold. I gathered my things, slipped the envelope of documents back into my bag, and stepped toward the door. As I left, I looked once more at the glowing Meridian sign above the entrance, the name that used to remind me of pain, now shining like a promise. For the first time, I didn't need to hide. And that, I realized, was the real wealth I'd been building all along.